Hey everyone, Tobias here. Welcome to the ultimate guide for Princess Connect global release prep. So, bit of a background about me. Tobias, I've been playing Princess Connect since the CN server launch. It's very competitive there, so I've had experience with the top 50 CN clan battles, as well as various other servers in terms of what to expect in the future. And currently for my global account, I have two accounts. So this is my alt, and this is the alt I use to create the ultimate starter guide. And you can see here on my alt I have 65,000 free gems. So this is all due to the fact that I know what to do, what mistakes to avoid. So hopefully this guide can provide you with some insight, some details into how you can get the best start. So in terms of the global Princess Connect game, it has been in soft launch since December 14th or 15th depending on your region since this year 2021. So the soft launch players actually have about 1 month of advantage over the full release players. However, in this game, you have to understand that the PvP aspect is bracket based, so that depends on when you complete map 4-5 for Battle Arena and map 8-15 for Princess Arena. So you'll be in a different bracket than the whales that have started early or the players that have started early. Which is why I suggest you, when you first start, just to wait a bit to let the initial brackets fill up. The other servers, Japan, which was the original first server, started February 2018, and Taiwan has started in 2018 as well, and they've been releasing new servers all the way till 2020. However, the multi-server thing is unique to Taiwan. Korea, China, Thailand, they have their own servers for the game as well, and they've only had one server so far. So the game is, if you break it down to the basics, a waifu collection game. So you have lots of cute units that you can play with. Everyone does their own unique things. So if you really want a casual game and a really free-to-play friendly game, this game is definitely the go-to. And of course, if you already play this game and you're looking for more in-depth or competitive starting advice, you can skip to the later parts of the video. But to the first-time newcomers, I want to make sure you understand that this game is completely friendly to free-to-play from both a competitive and just a casual point of view, because later on, a few months later, the gap between whales and free-to-play players will only get smaller, and eventually, if you have good luck versus let's say a whale with bad luck, you can actually surpass them. So with that out of the way, the game can also get very, very intense. So I'll release some videos later about how some of the mechanics can be as in-depth as some of the most competitive games out there. But to give you an understanding, for clan battles, you can be online with your clan for up to 18 hours a day. You're using emulators to fight for a few frames. You're using animation cancels to get the best timelines for your units, both before you're using the skill and after you're using the skill, and sometimes you're really just fighting for a few frames. So it can be very, very in-depth, and I'll have in-depth mechanic guides later on. But ignoring that, it's a very free-to-play casual game that you can very much enjoy. So back to the main topic of the video, how do you get started and be prepared and have the best start as possible, essentially. So one thing to look at is the rerolls. I'll have a link in the description. This is a guide on Reddit where they show you how to do the simple reroll guide. This is using the emulator, so it's much faster because you just delete some system preferences or user preferences, and it takes about 45 minutes per reroll, and you can open up multiple instances to have even more chances of getting the units you want. Which is what I did as well for my account. And when you first start to reroll, you have enough gems to roll for a 10x multi, as well as 4 singles, plus the tutorial, which is a guaranteed 3-star. So that comes from linking the Crunchyroll email address and as well as your Gmail account, and it's a achievement here, which after you link it, you get 2,000 gems. After that, you can progress through the story and do about in total 30 to 40 pulls. So my recommendation is that first of all you need to know what type of player you are, because it's very easy to get a decent start with just the one tutorial roll plus the 10+4. However, if you want the perfect start for the reroll, you really need to do about 20 to 30. And I have a guide on my YouTube account kind of going over what rerolls to aim for, as well as my personal tier list here, which I'll go into in a bit. But essentially, the recommendation for a perfect start, as I've stated in my previous video, is to gain an Makoto as your tutorial, and then 2 to 3 PvP units for that easy ladder climb, and to beef out your jewel count or gem count initially. And after that, it's just kind of cruising until you can reach the end game. So you can visit that video for more information on the correct combination if you want to get the perfect start. So back to the tier list I've talked about. So I created a tier list for the global launch, just going over all the units that are available on release. I do dive into some parts of what they may or may not be good at in the future, but I didn't go into too much detail because some of these things are 6 months or 1 year down the line. However, it's sorted by position, so you can see who is in front and who is behind, and then the ratings for PvP, clan battle, story, and PvE, which includes the maps we have so far, VH dungeons, and later on all the other different parts of PvE. And this is a rank equip recommendation. Don't worry about it right now. I'll have a video explaining why it's important later on to keep in mind what ranks of equips you want to keep. So JP tier lists are also available if you search online. However, this is more for the future because the Japanese tier list is essentially 3 years ahead, so the meta has changed. Every banner and every unique equip release or 6-star versions of the units will change the meta in some form. So make sure that you stick to the current meta and you are paying attention to what's going on right now for global. So anyhow, once you've watched the perfect start video, or you know what you're rerolling for, it's time to get started. So you go through your quests and you go through the stories, you progress, and essentially you want to push as far as you can. You'll be stuck at times, and it'll be a good time to determine what teams is keeping you back. Maybe you're missing a magic damage dealer, maybe you're missing more physical DPS. So it's always important to make sure that you look at the list. You can see what units are good for PvE and story, and to mix and match. There are lots of great 1-star and 2-star units that can help you progress the unit, so feel free to use them instead of always sticking to 3 stars. And there are modes which you can unlock. For example, the arena, which I talked about, unlocks at battle arena unlocks at 4:05, and princess arena unlocks at 8:15. You can wait a bit to unlock them to beef up your units to have an easier time. You also might want to avoid the initial whales if you're free to play or a medium spender initially to gain a better bracket. Again, all of these questions, if you're not too sure, you can ask in the comments, and also join the community Discord or the resources. The reason I wanted to keep this guide a bit brief and not too in-depth is because if I talked about everything in detail, it's going to be a 30-minute video, but I just want you to know to keep the key things in mind to get you started, and to join the community because there are lots of helpful players in there, and they'll be able to assist you with more questions. So some of the resources available, as I've talked about, the tier list is here as a guide. If you want to be competitive or you want to see what each unit is good at, you can go to that. There's a very good beginner tip Google Doc, which I'll link in the description of the video as well. It's by Kaito, who is also on Discord. Essentially goes over all the stuff from a beginner's point of view. If you've never played anything if you never played anything similar to Princess Connect, this is very good. It goes much more in depth than this video, and again, I just want to keep this video relatively short, so this is a great resources if you want to dig deeper. And also, do join the community Discord. I'll have a link for the community Discord in my description as well. So in the community Discord, which is 18,000 members strong, you'll be able to chat with fellow players, ask a lot of questions. This is extremely helpful because if you look at the pin section, it's gonna have the most commonly asked questions and answers to them. So players are always happy to help. If you have team comp questions on what you need to progress through the story, ask here. Yeah, so that's essentially it in terms of Princess Connect and getting started with the full release. And if you can right now, you can actually get the soft launch still from APK Pure and some Google Play stores such as Canada, and some of these SE regions will have the game available for download on the Android store as well. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed this video. It's a very quick and brief guide on the global full release and how to get started. And again, any questions, ask in the Discord or leave a comment.